again, welcome to another Elevated 8. And today we got Hilljack Glass. Man, this is an OG glass blower, and without somebody like this guy, this industry just wouldn't be where it's at today. So I'm really excited to go meet him, check him out. Really quickly, I want to mention, we need your help. We have Elevate brand ambassadors, elevatedolls.com. Check it out. It's a really cool way to help build our brand, help build awareness, and earn some cool things. It's all a real synergistic way to grow. We also got Elevate Veterans. Check it out. It's a 501c3. Really neat way to help people grow. Anyways, let's roll into this Elevated 8. All right, we got Elevated 8 today with Hilljack Glass here today. And thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
Doing good, man.
Hell yeah. So my first question is, how did you get into this craziness of glass blowing? It's such an adventure and an endless rabbit hole, and you've been doing it for a minute. How did you get into this?
Oh, how did I get into glass blowing? Well, I as a kid, I was always interested in glass. When I was pretty young, I remember seeing soft glass workers at amusement parks and things like that. And it just kind of was captivating to me. I love watching the process, seeing the finished work. Ultimately, how I first got behind a torch, my cousin had a boyfriend that, he had to have been one of the first people in the St. Louis area in the mid to late 90s that was starting to make pipes. And
Right.
I saw some of his first pieces, and I was like, and he kind of explained, the process, and I was just like, and you did this at a shop you set up in your own home, anyway, he promised me that he would let me give it a go one day. That's kind of how it all started. And I would say that he kind of gave me some basic lessons, let me get behind his torch, which was, I think he had a Nortel major premix minor setup, and he would make these huge pieces on that thing, man. It was pretty crazy. But anyway, so I got my own torch probably November, December of '99.
Wow. And that's all just from, luckily, you had a cousin there that had a boyfriend blowing glass. I know you said you loved it and you were looking into it, but what a neat thing to happen in your environment to where it just said, here's the new way, man.
Yeah, the fact that it was something that, basically for $1,500, you could get a basic setup, and I always just assumed that working with hot glass was kind of a hobby of somebody who had a pretty big pocketbook, and I was just, as a youngster, I was like, I was very intrigued to see this, in fact, I even messed around with a propane torch and some chemistry set glass when I was probably 13, but
Right.
so even back then I was kind of interested, but
Has fire always been a thing you've been interested in as well then?
oh yes, in fact, I was kind of one of those kids that was a pyromaniac. I was really interested in chemistry and explosions, and making little scale models and videotaping it. When I was young, that was back, we had
The big VHS
camcorder.
thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, definitely have always been interested in chemical reactions and heat, for sure, how they affect things,
Yeah. How exactly did you get your name into this thing?
Okay. Well, let's see. The name, in the early 2000s, I just was kind of going as Grady Blown Glass, which Grady is the name I go by. It's actually technically my middle name, but I don't know. Like, I heard my dad use the word Hilljack before, like, and I just thought it was kind of a funny word, you know. And then sometime around like 2006, I was considering like using that as my glass blower name or company name. And I looked up the definition, and it said that Hilljack was basically like a rural hillbilly type person, but a hilljack was like the person that had a lot of knowledge and abilities to like be able to like, I don't know, like it's interesting. Hilljack was like a person that could get by on their own knowledge, you know, like
And the
something like that.
environment. Right.
Exactly. So I don't know. I thought it was fairly fitting. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
So what items when you first started did you really, start bringing into production and selling and everything? Was it marbles? Were they pipes then?
Pipes is pretty much what was my first thing, was making spoon pieces, you know. And like I said, my cousin's boyfriend was making these, I mean, really large bubblers that were made from, 15, 20 pieces that were connected. And so I was really interested in making, multi-section pieces and bubblers and like stand-up hammers. And, back when I first started, actually, like the first year, I didn't even have a kiln, and I was doing the whole vermiculite thing. I don't know if anybody even goes that route these days, but yeah. So of course I wasn't able to do like multi-section pieces, but yeah. I mean, I've always loved like every bit of it, every bit of like the pipe movement, the marbles, the pendants, uh, you know, just going to festivals and like seeing glass that other people were making. I just I'd spend hours checking it out, and just really fell in love.
And then so you'd go see some of that stuff and then probably not fully figure it out, but come back and just like, here's a new challenge, a new puzzle to try to.
Oh yeah. Every time, that was back before really the internet had any info. So meeting up with other glass workers was like really the only way,
Mhm.
and you'd meet up with somebody and you'd kind of share tech, and boy, you'd be like so fired up to get back and get behind the torch and give it a go. You'd learn something, share some information, and it was really inspiring. But yeah, I mean, I would say making pipes, spoons, chillums, I wanted to be able to subsist without a day job blowing glass, which that's
Right.
what I do, of course. Nowadays I'm like I'm supporting my whole family blowing glass. So
Mhm. Yeah, and that's great. And that's a one thing, you point out that you got to find something where you can eat off of, and then you can find your art, experiment there, and then start like bringing the two together and building it all up. But
yeah.
did you have a mentor when you first started out? Because I know you had your cousin's boyfriend, but man, such an early time, there weren't a lot of people doing this. So it really feels like, did you have a mentor back then?
Oh no, I mean, really, besides the few lessons, which were like maybe 2 or 3 that he gave me, I mean, it was just experimentation. I think probably around 2002, I got Contemporary Lampworking, the series of, at that point, it was only a 2-book series.
Mhm.
And that, and then as like the internet was unfolding, and of course, eventually I stumbled into glasspipes.org, which was probably around 2003 or 2004, sometime around there. And
Yeah.
that, of course, was just like, I mean, that was awesome. I'm sure that you've probably spoke to other artists that talked about glasspipes.org, which, I mean, it was very inspiring, you know, and
Mhm.
just great information, being able to share, being able to see, just like, I mean, that was the first time I ever saw like, you know, a sandblasted piece. And I mean, I remember like seeing that for the first time and just being like, wow. And I'd heard about sandblasting glass, soft glass, like I'd seen people make platters and things like that where they did some vinyl masking, and
Mhm.
that was in the soft glass world, but that was the first time I'd ever seen it in the pipe world. You know, it was probably around, gee, gosh, 2003, something like that. Yeah.
Right. And I think that site did go away, but somebody told me that they're bringing it back as like a nostalgia thing, and somebody got all the rights to it because
Yeah.
it's such an important piece of our history here.
Oh man, it's so cool, you know, and like seeing just seeing the beginnings, like I was a huge fan of like honestly, like Jason Lee was like really his work. I'm like I'm really into like bright colors, you
Mhm.
know, and I would say like in the late 90s, that was kind of the advent of uh, you know, the crayon colors and just cadmiums that were opaque and bright, and like seeing those colors worked in a way. Uh, I mean, yeah, Jason Lee's work, but uh, anyway, seeing like Yusheen's work when he was first starting, you know, it was just really cool. You know, which I mean was very impressive, honestly, for the first few pieces that were posted from some of the old heads, dude. I mean, you know, you could tell they were going places, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And they've done it like you, like all it's been years and years and years. It didn't just kind of happen overnight. It was a lot of getting in there, fighting these battles all on your own, not a whole lot of help. And then slowly it started opening up like with glass pipes. Neat stuff. It's been so great for the history. Um, have you taken any classes to further your abilities? And do you recommend classes?
Oh, have I taken any classes? No, I haven't personally taken any classes, but yeah, I would definitely recommend for anyone that's getting into the uh, flame working boro. Uh, I mean, I would say it's a must. You know, me being primarily stationed in the Midwest, there was such a low amount of pipe makers at that time that you know, if it wasn't for the internet picking up a few things, like, but I constantly kick myself for not like uh you know, heading out west and taking some classes, you know, like from people that were really doing it to it, you know. But yeah, I never had taken any classes, honestly. It's really just kind of and it's not a way to go. I would not endorse that, you know. It's but I will say that out of kind of coming across my own version, I have like styles of doing things that are unique to me.
Right.
And so it does give birth to things like that, you know.
Absolutely. And I'm there with you. And I think that had a lot to do with the older times is the videos weren't there. There weren't a lot of help out there. So you just kind of put your head down and had to figure it out and go for it. So have you given classes and taught people?
Yeah, I actually do. I work out of it's a small flame working shop in St. Louis that is got about 6 bench spaces, and I'm basically like the shop manager there. It's down in the Del Mar Loop area in St. Louis. And I mean, I'm pretty busy these days, but now and then, you know, I will do like an intro class. And yeah, I mean, there does seem to always be a good amount of interest for that. But yeah, I do offer classes in the St. Louis area.
Hell yeah.
Intro begins, yeah.
Yeah, those always seem fun to spread the knowledge and see the little sparks in people's eyes when,
Heck yeah.
yeah, neat stuff. Where do you get your inspiration and creativity from?
Oh, let's see. I mean, there's a while where just the natural world, uh, like I went through a good amount of time where I was on a sandblasting kick, probably about 10 years ago. And yeah, of course, like things like out in the woods, just the natural elements, stone in general, just minerals and things like that. As far as like, I mean, there's inspiration everywhere, I mean, it's pretty much like you can go into the grocery store and see, some type of fruit or, an abstract looking vegetable that, pipe makers, I'm sure you've heard, like that's the first thing that pops into their mind, is I wonder if I can pull it off in glass,
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, nothing in particular, but
Just life
everywhere.
everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
For
I
sure.
like that. What's your preferred style or technique that you like to do?
Well, most of my production work is vac stack tubing. Yeah, I like vacuum encasing pretty much anything, it's as soon as I wrap my head around the vac stack world and probably about like 2007, I mean, I was just hooked. You were able to get such clean, nice tubing and good amount of it, and so yeah, my arms were tired, at first, but now I can whip out many a stack, without sweating it. But
Right.
yeah, I love just the brightness that you can get from the color.
And how it can be all reworked and re-put together and reworked again, and it's so endless, and it's just
Sure.
I just love it as well. Were you gonna say something?
Oh no. Well, I mean, I was just gonna say that uh, vacuum encasing, be it crushed opal, just silver, or I don't know, just being able to vacuum encase anything. And there's a lot of people out there that are experimenting with that, just what can I vacuum encase? And I'm definitely one of those people, like just as much as you feel that everything's been done in the pipe world, it's just so not true, like we're really kind of, things are unfurling as we speak, I just like to be a part of experimenting,
Yeah. And I think one neat thing about backstack and stuff is it really protects the color. It does all of that. And it just opens a whole new world that you couldn't have. Like if you don't backstack cadmiums, it's going to take you a long time to work that stuff. And so it makes it safer, just gives it more depth, I feel, and it's just awesome.
Sure. Yep.
Do you do a lot of your vac stacking? It sounds like you're doing it all by hand and not necessarily on a lathe. Is that correct then?
All by hand. Yep.
That's a nice hot process.
See, yeah. I probably started out, gosh, I think the first pull I did was on 38, with like 4-inch rods, but I'd say my average stack that I do is usually a 10-inch rods and 50. Sometimes I'll do in 75 too, just to be able to get the more lines and more variation and a color fade, but I think my bread and butter is 50 mil with a 25 core.
Right. Hell yeah. And that's 25 cores still. That's a lot of sticks in a piece. And Good stuff. Um, have you had any periods in your career where you shifted, say from one thing to another? It sounds like you had a real big kick in the sandblasting, and if so, what caused that shift in your career?
Uh, yeah, sure. You know, even before the sandblasting, what I would say, uh, so in the late 90s, early 2000s, uh, you were seeing in shops, you were seeing inside out work, you know, and laddie cane, you know, and that was the stuff that I was looking at and being like, oh my word, look how bright those colors are, you know. Uh, and so I really fell in love with the inside out technique, you know, and for the most part, that's what I focused on for probably the first like 6 to 8 years. And I would say that coming across the vac stacking method is really what changed it up for me. But I mean, I still do a inside out piece now and then, you know, like I just love it. Like I
There's
still
nothing
to this
like it.
day love it, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, for a nice
Uh,
little hand piece, the way the colors like bubble out and like
sure. Yeah.
nothing's like it.
Yeah. 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 The colors that have various metals in them, how they get that halo or that aura, you know, like, I mean, like Blue Moon, uh, inside out work is just like, I mean, it's wonderful, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Hell yeah. Um,
But yeah, I would say that changing into the backstack thing as far as production work was a little bit more cost effective. And I don't know, it just ended up with cleaner pieces, you know, for my proto work. So that's really was a big change, I'd
hell
say.
yeah. So it sounds like efficiency and production and efficiency, learning that style and bringing it into your world and putting it
Yep.
out more. Do you have a favorite color to work with that you just absolutely love?
Oh man, you know, whenever I think of that, it's such a hard question. I mean, I love caramel, you know, not necessarily in a vac stack situation, but like just as like coil potting, or I don't know, the caramel is just a wonderful color to use. I mean, even in the vac stack world, it's you know, it can have like some unique variations in the way that it strikes, and
Mhm.
uh, so caramel's definitely up there, but uh, yeah, I mean, it's so hard. I would just have to say that uh, really my bread and butter is you know, bright cadmiums. Uh, you know, lava is like, I don't know, some people don't like orange, but for some reason I'm really drawn to it. So like lava is a color that I use a lot of. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Right on. Is there a color that you really don't like and it's just you're just not gonna touch it?
Well, I mean, I don't know how many people are in love with jade green, but you know, you can't necessarily uh, you know, unless you're doing like solid little figurines, you know, it's pretty much a guaranteed you know, catastrophe if you encase it. So uh I don't know, maybe someone knows a secret out there that I don't, but
I haven't
yeah,
heard. I've heard Jade
yeah,
Green is not good.
yeah. Well, I usually lean away from jade green, I would say.
Hell yeah. What's the most difficult piece you've ever attempted?
Oh shoot, the most difficult piece. I mean, honestly, like when I make headies, like I spend like tops of one day, you know, like I've never really gone all in on a several days, you know. Uh, but as far as like, yeah, I mean, I'm mostly like in production mode, I would say for the most part. But I mean, the most difficult, honestly, it is, I mean, to me, just doing like Kleins like are difficult as sin, you know, like honestly,
Absolutely.
and it's stressful, you know, it's very stressful being able to, you just gotta act quickly, you know, and be on it, you know, because just a few seconds of cooldown and yeah, yeah.
I
So
agree. Those clients are a pain in the butt, and each one feels like, am I doing this right?
yeah, it's a stressful situation. I usually like to, you know, decrease the stress in my work. So I don't know. I usually hang in the production world, but yeah, whenever I'm trying things that are new, it can always be, uh, you know, new ideas that I've been cultivating and bringing them to life. Like it can be both a stressful and like, you know, wonderful situation. So,
Yeah, yeah. Hell yeah. Um, do you collaborate often?
not as much as I would like to. I mean, honestly, I would love to. I have a bunch of people that want to get in on some pieces and, you know, out of towners that, uh, you know, we're always talking about making it happen, but, you know, just
Finding that
squeezing
perfect
some
time.
time, you know, it can be, uh, you know, fairly daunting when it comes to making my my daily regiment of work, you know, and trying to squeeze in time to do a collab. But I mean, there is actually a buddy of mine, a good buddy that I've known since high school, who goes by Gladstone Glass, and
Okay.
he's in St. Louis, and I got him going on the torch probably about 2007, 2008. And now and then he's actually like he's just obsessed with like wigging and wagging, you know, and doing line work and reversals. And so he's gotten pretty good at that. So a lot of times we'll do collabs where, you know, he makes the balls and then I do the heavy work of putting together the piece, you know, but
Sweet. Sweet.
yeah.
Hell yeah. Um, do you consume yourself
Oh, sure.
cannabis?
Yeah,
Do you
indeed.
pre do you prefer the flower, the concentrates, edibles, or do you just love the whole plant and what it is?
I mean, yeah, I do love it all. I would say on the day to day though that I'm a flower man, just because like, you know, I tend to get pretty tore up, you know,
Mhm.
so like, yeah, I mean, I usually stick to the flower myself, but I mean, I certainly don't knock any derivatives because I'm a fan of all for sure.
Hell yeah. Um, when you do consume, do you consume out of your pieces, or do you have a collection of other people's stuff that you really like to use?
Well, for the most part, it is like second quality pieces of mine.
Typical
And
glass blower then.
exactly, exactly.
Hell yeah. Um, do you have any hobbies outside of glass?
Oh, sure. Well, currently I'm rebuilding an old Volvo that's from the mid 60s. It's a Volvo 544.
Okay.
Uh, so I'm sort of a Volvo head. And that occupies whenever I can squeeze some time in. I like to work on the old car. Uh, but I'm also a musician. I've played in several bands,
Oh wow.
playing keyboards. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Haven't been that active in the last couple of years, but I played in a local reggae group by the name of the Murder City Players, and it was really killer. You know, playing with them. They're
Right
some
on.
good players.
Is do you guys got some music out there we can find and put a link to, do you think?
Oh shoot, you know that group is they're kind of some old heads. They've been around since 1982. I don't know if they have anything
All
that is
right.
digital that exists out there, you know.
All right.
I wish that was true, but yeah.
That's how it was back then. No pictures, no video, no sound. We didn't have these
Yep.
little magic things that we just could record everything.
I know. I know it. I
It's
think I've got a CD somewhere.
right on. Um, What can we look forward to in the future from you?
Oh shoot. I would like to focus on making more headies, honestly. You know, the proto work, it is the bread and butter,
Mhm.
but I've just in the last couple of years I've been sort of just itching to do something that's a little bit more satisfying and I've put in the time. So like a lot of people are like, what's like your finest piece?
Absolutely.
And it's like I wish I would have taken a picture of it, because it's like I make pieces, I sell them, I'm bad at Instagram, terrible. So like a tenth of my work gets you know photographed. And but yeah, for the future I'd like to see more headies coming out of me, honestly.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Well, I look forward to that because, man, without you being here and people like you, this would not be here. I know you do a lot of production, but that is what, bottom line, serves the entire industry. Like that's
Oh
what's
yeah.
built it.
Yeah.
That's what allows 99% of the people to step in and say, I'm going to experience this now, is the production,
Sure.
whether it's a pipe or a bubbler. And so, man, my hat's off to you because, like, I'm sure you put off tens of thousands of pieces out there,
Oh
and
yeah.
if those are all smiles in everybody's face.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I do. I mean, I certainly am aware that just providing like a piece with like a certain degree of artistic merit, uh, but still affordable. I mean, I do love that. I love providing that. That is something that, yeah.
It's almost neater because you, like, if you're trying to get smiles, you get way more smiles by putting a lot of stuff out there than one little piece. Like it's only one smile, and smiles are pretty awesome.
Yep, I agree.
Do you find you still have the same love and passion today as when you started?
Um, yes, I would say that I've been on the torch full time since 2011, maybe 2012, somewhere around there. And yeah, I mean, I guess when I was a little younger, like it leaked into every thought, just I was just constantly thinking about glass working. Uh, I've got a family and kids, and I would say in the last like 5 years, it really has became more of like, my living. And, I often say like, you don't want to put your favorite song as your alarm clock, you know? uh, but no, I do still love it. But yeah, I would like to kind of free up myself a little bit and just experiment more these days.
Oh yeah,
The
oh yeah.
passion is definitely still there, but
Just a little bit different. And like you said, you got family now, and that absorbs some of your passion, and because that's a whole new
exactly.
ball game.
Yeah.
Um, well, I guess, do you have any shout outs, or did we miss anything that
Any
you'd like to
shout
add out?
outs?
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I would have to say that oh man, I'm not, if I do
Probably
one,
your
I'd have to do
wife.
them all.
I bet your
Oh, my
wife.
wife, of course. I do have a wonderful wife, and I mean, she's a wonderful person, and she helps things run. So, uh, yep. I gotta say howdy to my lovely wife, Erin.
Hell yeah. Well, Hilljack, this was such an honor to hang out with you and to be graced by an OG of the industry. I really appreciate you taking the time and sharing your story with us here.
Hey, man, pleasure's mine, for sure.
Well, peace out. Elevate, man.
Right on. Have a good one now.
Man, that was just so awesome hanging out with Hilljack Glass. Like, it's just crazy that he's willing to give us some time, hang out here. I felt like I've known the guy forever. just go check him out. His glass is really amazing, and man, that was a lot of fun. Elevate mind, body, spirit. And when you're talking about mind, body, spirit, remember, you can also elevate your mind and your body with some really cool stuff like this by joining our Elevate Brand Ambassador program. So check it out at Elevate Dolls and ElevateGents.com. Sign up, really awesome. And also don't forget, we got Elevate Vets. It's a really cool 501c3. Check it out. It's a lot of fun to help work with this, get some blowers, some vets, some consumption units like the Surfer, as well as glass blowing classes at some local glass blowing shops. Anyways, elevate mind, body, spirit.